everyone, I am Rachel Vidal Cruz from BSED English 1A and one of your presenters of Group 5. So today, we will talk about what is United Nations and who founded United Nations. And lastly, we will discuss when does United Nations being established. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. United Nations or UN, are also called International Organization, was established on October 24, 1945. The name United Nations originated with President Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1941 when he described the countries fighting against the Axis power that includes Germany, Italy, and Japan. In World War II, the name was first used officially on January 1, 1942, when 26 states joined in the declaration by the United Nations, pledging to continue their joint war effort and not to make peace separately. The United Nations was established after the World War II in attempted to maintain international peace and security to achieve cooperation among nations on economic, social, and humanitarian problems. The United Nations or the UN was the second multi-purpose international organization established in 20th century that was the worldwide in scope and membership. Its predecessors, the League of Nations, was created by the Treaty of Versailles in 1919 and disbanded in 1946. So what is this Treaty of Versailles? On June 28, 1919, the Treaty of Versailles was signed at the place of Versailles outside Paris, France. The treaty was one of the several official ended 5 years of conflict known as the Great War, World War I. The Treaty of Versailles outlined the condition of peace between the German and the victorious allies led by the United States, France, and United Kingdom. In addition, UN also has regional office in Geneva, Vienna, and Nairobi. Its official language are Arabic, Chinese, English, French, Russian, and Spanish. Lastly, though the United Nations has evolved over the years to keep pace with a rapid change in the world, but one thing has stayed the same. It remains the one place on earth where all world's nations can gather together, discuss common problems, and find shared solutions to benefit all the humanity.
So good day to each and everyone. I'm Lani Julie Sandra and I'm from BSED English 1A. So today I'm going to discuss about the goal of the United Nations. So the main goal of UN is to maintain international peace and security, to protect human rights, to deliver humanitarian aid, and to support sustainable development and climate action. It tries to maintain international peace and security and takes effective measures for removal of threats to the peace. It works for the development of friendly relations among nations and to achieve international cooperation in solving problems of economic, social, and cultural. Every year, the UN Secretary General presents an annual SDG Progress Report, which is developed in cooperation with the UN system and based on the Global Indicator Framework and data produced by National Statistical System and information collected at the regional level. In 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by all United Nations members states in 2015, provides a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for people and the planet, now and into the future. And its heart are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals or the SDGs, which are an urgent call for action by all countries, developed and developing in a global partnership. They recognize that ending poverty and other deprivations must go hand in hand with strategies that improve health and education, reduce inequality, and spur economic growth, all while tackling climate change and working to preserve our oceans and forests. So these are the 17 Sustainable Development Goals or the SDGs to transform our world. The goal number 1 is to know poverty. It aims to end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Its objective include ensuring that the entire population, and especially the poorest and most vulnerable. While the goal 2 is the zero hunger. It aims to end hunger and achieve food security and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. While the goal 3 is to have a good health and well-being. It ensures healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. So the goal 4 is the quality education. It is to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. While the goal 5 is the gender equality. It achieves gender equality and empower all women and girls. While the goal 6 is to have a clean water and sanitation. It ensures availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. The goal 7 is to have affordable and clean energy. It ensures access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. The goal 8 is to have a decent work and economic growth. It promotes sustained, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment, and decent work for all. The next is the goal 9, the industry, innovation, and infrastructure. It builds resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. The goal 10 is to reduce inequality. It reduces inequality within and among countries. The goal 11 is to have a sustainable cities and communities. It makes cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. The goal 12 is to responsible consumption and production. It ensures sustainable consumption and production patterns. The goal 13 is a climate action. It takes urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. While the goal 14 is the life below water. It conserves and sustainably uses the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. The goal 15 is the life on land. Protect, restore, and promote sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, sustainably manage forests, combat desertification and halt, and reverse land degradation and halt biodiversity loss. The goal 16 is the peace and justice strong institutions. It promotes peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development. It provides access to justice for all and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. And lastly, the goal 17, the partnerships to achieve the goal. It strengthens the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development.
Everyone, my name is Christine Alfonso from BSED English 1A. My topic for today is all about the history of United Nations and who is the member of it. So let me start with the history of United Nations. The United Nations, or the UN, was the second multi-purpose international organization established in the 20th century that was worldwide in scope and membership. So 4 months after the San Francisco Conference ended, the United Nations officially began. On 24th of October 1945, when it came into existence after its charter had been ratified by China, France, the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, the United States, and by a majority to other signatories. Okay, let's move on to the next. Who is the member of United Nations? So, the member states of the United Nations comprise 193 sovereign states. The United Nations is the world's largest intergovernmental organization. All members have equal representation in the United Nations General Assembly. The United Nations Charter defines the rules for admission of member states. The Council is composed of 15 members. 5 permanent members are the China, France, Russian Federation, the United Kingdom, and the United States. And 10 non-permanent members elected for 2-year terms by the General Assembly with end of term year. The Albania 2023 and the Brazil 2023. And that's all about the history of United Nations and the member.
Hi everyone, my name is Amanda Cirentillo from BSN English 1A and one of the members of Group I. Today I would like to share to you the programs and organizations we implement. There are 5 main organizations we implement. 5 of them was General Assembly, the Security Council, the Economic and Social Council, and the Trusted Council, and lastly the Secretariat. So what is United Nations General Assembly all about? The United Nations of Assembly is one of the 6 principles of United Nations, serving as the main deliberative, policy-making, and representative organ of the UN. Currently, in its 5th session, its power, composition, functions, and procedures are set up in 5 chapters of the United Nations Charter. Next is the Security Council. Security Council has primary responsibility for the maintenance of international peace and security. It has 15 members and each one of them have a vote under the Charter of the United Nations. All the member states are obligated to comply with the Council decisions. The Economic and Social Council. The Economic and Social Council is one of the principal organs of the United Nations. It is responsible for coordinating the economic and social goals of the organizations. The Economic and Social Council may make or initiate studies and reports with respect to international, economic, cultural, educational, health, and related matters. The Trusteeship Council. The United Nations Trusteeship Council is one of the main organs of the UN. It was established to supervise the administration of trust territories as they transition from colonies to covering nations. The Council suspended its activities in 1994 when allowed the last of the origin trust members gained its independence, and lastly was the Secretariat. The United Nations Secretariat is one of the 6 principal organs of the United Nations. The Secretariat is the U.S. executive arm. The Secretariat has an important role in setting the agenda of the political aim and decision-making bodies of the UN and implementation of decisions of these bodies. And that's all. Thank you.
So the purpose of the United Nations is to maintain international peace and security, and to that end, to take effective collective measures for the prevention and removal of threats to the peace, and for the suppression of acts of aggression or other breaches of the peace, and to bring about by peaceful means and in conformity with the principles of justice and international law, adjustment or settlement of international disputes or situations which might lead to a breach of the peace, to develop friendly relations among nations based on respect for the principles of equal rights and self-determination of peoples, and to take other appropriate measures to strengthen universal peace, to achieve international cooperation in solving international problems of an economic, social, cultural, or humanitarian character, and in promoting and encouraging respect for human rights and for fundamental freedoms for all without distinction, as to race, sex, language, or religion, and to be a center for harmonizing the action of nations in the attainment of these common ends.
So accordingly, the United Nations was created in 1945 following the devastation of the Second World War with one central mission, the maintenance of international peace and security, protect human rights, deliver humanitarian aid, support sustainable development, and climate action. So the United Nations accomplishes this by working to prevent conflict, helping parties in conflict make peace, deploying peacekeepers, and creating the conditions to allow peace to hold and flourish. So the most effective way to diminish human suffering and to massive economic costs of conflicts and their aftermath is to prevent conflicts in the first place. So the United Nations plays an important role in conflict prevention among the nations using diplomacy, good offices, and mediation to help nations prevent and resolve conflicts peacefully. Civilian-led political missions are deployed to the field with mandates to encourage dialogue and cooperation within and between nations, or to promote reconciliation and democratic governance in societies rebuilding after civil wars. The work of the United Nations to foster credible elections around the world also contributes directly to its efforts to promote peace and prevent conflict. Underpinning the activities is the conviction that political issues lie at the root of many conflicts, and thus political solutions are required to resolve them. Peacekeeping has proven to be one of the most effective tools available to the United Nations to assist countries to navigate the difficult path from conflict to peace. Today's multidimensional peacekeeping operations are called upon not only to maintain peace and security but also to facilitate political processes, protect civilians, assist in the disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration of former combatants, support constitutional processes and the organization of elections, protect and promote human rights, and assist in restoring the rule of law and extending legitimate state authority. So in conclusion, the United Nations works in more than 170 countries and territories, helping to achieve the eradication of poverty and the reduction of inequalities and exclusion. They help countries develop policies, leadership skills, partnering abilities, institutional capabilities, and build resilience in order to sustain development results.